Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Mishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidam. So today we have an essay by Swami Tejamayanandaji entitled Peace of Mind. So this is the 10th essay for our section. So he starts the essay with saying that many times in this world we do attain peace. When we sleep, we definitely gain a lot of peace. When we experience something, a happy moment, a blissful moment, like maybe taking a walk in the park and just feeling the air in our face, we feel peace. Sometimes people numb themselves to feel peace. They get high on drugs or alcohol. They also feel a certain sense of peace. Or sometimes when we go to a yoga asana class or meditation or a discourse, we feel peace. And then after that, again, there's so much noise and disturbance. So the point that he was trying to make is that we feel these temporary spikes of peace. And then again, it goes to noise. Again, it goes to disturbance. So what do we do about this? Is there a way to prolong it? Is there a way to always have it? What is the real solution here? The real solution is actually our nature is already peace. We already have it. We don't need to prolong it. We just need to know that that's our nature. We are Shanti, but we create so much disturbance, and that is Ashanti. So very interestingly, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, in order to have peace, we don't have to gain something, we have to give up some things. And it says we have to give up 4 things. This verse comes in chapter 2, and it's verse 71. It goes like this. Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumanscharati nisprahaha nirmamo nirahankaraha sashantimadhigacchati. What it says is, a person who wants to reach Shanti, sashantim adhigacchati, has to do 4 things. Pumanscharati, this person has to do 4 things. Vihaya, give up. Kama, desire. Spriha, longing. Mine-ness, mama. And ahankara, I-ness. So let's look at each 4 of the things. First is desire. And we had a previous talk about desire. And now it goes back into this desire. What is it with this desire, and why do we like it? Why are we so fascinated by it? There's 2 ways to look at it. One is to look at desire from an ignorant person's standpoint. One is to look at it from a person who has knowledge. From an ignorant person's standpoint, they equate desire with an object. They equate desire for an object, they equate an object to happiness. So whenever they see something, an object here means it could be a place, it could be a thing, a person, an experience, anything. Whatever object, they start to equate that with happiness. anything. It could be a chocolate cake. It could be an experience that I want to have. It could be having a relationship. It could be being so famous. Anything, any object, what they start to do is they equate it to happiness. So then what happens is the desire for more objects supposedly will make me more happy, because happiness are in objects. And if I get that, I will be happy. And when I have less objects, I will feel sad. So this equation has come into their minds for some reason, that they get it, they get it, they get it, and they feel so happy. Now, for a wise person, objects equals comfort. Objects equals objects. It is a comfort. It is something that will come. It could be a basic need. It could be food to satisfy hunger. It could be a computer. It could be some kind of relationship. It could be some kind of experience. But an object is an object, and it will give some kind of comfort. It will give some kind of pleasure, but it will not give happiness. So their equation is objects not equal to happiness. Object will give some comfort, will give some pleasure, but not happiness. Now, how did a wise person come to this conclusion? Very easy. And all we need to do is just keep thinking and reflecting on this. Our rishis say that the whole entire world, the whole entire cosmos can be divided into two. That's it. You just take every single thing that you know and you divide it into two. One is called the subject, the other is called the object. Subject, I, means pure consciousness. Object means every single thing that we experience, that we perceive, that we can think of, is called an object. Even this mind is an object. So there is the subject, and therein lies the object. Now our rishis saw that they tried to get this long-lasting, permanent happiness from objects. They tried, and they pursued several things. They pursued wealth, they pursued pleasure, relationships, experience, name, fame. They pursued all of those things, but they said, you know what? That long-lasting happiness is not coming from any object. We tried maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 times. We tried a number of times. It's not coming from the object. So you know what? Let me turn into the subject, and maybe I'll get it there because it's not an object. And so therefore, our rishis have discovered that happiness therein lies in the subject. It's not coming from the object. They tried. So they know that sorrow, I feel sorrow because I don't know the glory of the subject. And when I know the glory of the subject, I will gain happiness. That's all. It's very simple thinking. Now, the ignorant ones, they tried to find happiness in the objects and they didn't get it. Ignorant ones means us. We try to find happiness, long-lasting happiness in objects, and we don't get it. But then what happens is we still want to go and find it there, and we still want to go and find it there, and we still want to do it, and we still want to get there, and we don't want to change our direction because we're not fully convinced. It hasn't fully hit us. But the day it hits us, we will want to then turn our direction inwards. And the day that you and I turn our direction inwards, only then can we be called a seeker. Otherwise, we are living, swimming, drowning in ignorance. Because we feel that these objects can complete us. So this is called desire. Desire is nothing but a thought. What is the thought about? I want this. Why do I want this? Because it will make me happy. It will fulfill me. It will make me complete. That thought and thought process is called desire. Now, sometimes you and I think that we are also rishis and we are also masters because we say that I don't want this. I don't have any desires. I don't want this name and fame. I don't want this wealth. I don't want all of this. Very true. There are some things we don't want, but there's still some things we want, isn't it? I don't want this money. I don't want this comfort. I don't need all of these things. But you look in your mind, there's still something there that you want. An ignorant person will say, I want this, or I don't want this. A wise person will say, I don't want. Full stop. Period. I just don't want. Because I know that I'm already full. So that's why desire is happening. And desire keeps on happening and keeps on growing. Now, is it such a bad thing? I mean, is it really possible that we give up all of our desires? Like anything is possible. So, first is, let's see if desire is such a bad thing. Desire is like having a love affair. Huh? When you have an affair, what happens? This is, you have to revel in Adi Shankaracharya ji. He gives us examples like this in Viveka Chudamani, how he's understood the psychology of the mind, even in those days. And he says, when you have a love affair, what happens? That you're supposed to go home to your husband and wife, but instead of going home, you see somebody who's very attractive. She could just smile a little bit and you would feel like, wow, or just do a hair toss and you would feel so drawn to her. Or he could just give you a look and you could just see his stature so well built and your attention is just completely gone. Your attention is completely gone to that woman or that man, and you're so drawn to them that you cannot even think of going home. You just want to spend time with them. You want to get to know them. You want to be with them. And your energy is now invested in creating a relationship with them when you already have an existing relationship at home. But you're feeling like your relationship at home is not satisfying you deeply. So you're going out there and trying to pursue something else. So what happens here? Everything is turned. Your investment of time, your energy, all your money also goes in that, isn't it? So instead of going home, I go to him, I go to her. What happens with an object? Instead of going home, I go to it. Instead of going where I'm supposed to go, my existing relationship with the divine, I'm going to an object. I'm going to an experience, to a thing, to a being, to a place, because I feel like it's going to give me some sense of joy. And I invest so much time, so much money, so much in that object. And what will happen at the end is I will get burned, unfortunately. So you see, it detracts us from the goal. 100% it detracts. It's like having an affair. So now, can we exist without having any desires? Is it actually humanly possible? Even for a realized being? For a realized being, they, we've seen this before in Vedanta. They're not acting in this world because they want something. They're acting in this world out of the fulfillment of their own knowledge. So they're not acting out of a sense of incompleteness. They're acting as a fulfillment of their own knowledge, their own joy. But that's not to say that they don't have basic needs. They do have basic needs of food, of shelter, of clothing, basic needs. But these basic needs are not what you call these desires that you and I would otherwise have. No, but what to do with the desires that we have? What to do with the desires that we have is, if there lingers a desire, if there lingers any such thing for the world, then what do is sublimate it, make it selfless, put it at a selfless altar. And in that way, that desire gets exhausted. Because maybe we're not ready to go dig into the subject yet and dig deeper into who I am. Fine. Take that desire, know that you have desire. Know what that desire is. Look it in the eye and sublimate it to a higher altar. And when you do that, that exhaustion will happen, the exhaustion of that desire. Like wealth. You want to have so much wealth, so much comfort, so much luxury. Fine. But at least give it also for a good cause. At least create some wonderful institutions. And in that way, slowly, your desire gets exhausted and you and I actually start to grow out of it. So Vihaya Kamanya Sarvan. What is this spriha or longing? This is the second point now. Spriha. Spriha means craving for something that I've already experienced, which gave me pleasure. So spriha, again, is a thought. What kind of thought? I want it again. This is called spriha. I want it again. And why do I want it again? Because I've experienced it and it gave me some kind of inkling of pleasure, and hence I want to go through it again. That's called spriha. So why does this happen? This happens because I feel like I need that to keep me happy. I feel like I need that to keep me going. And as a result, I get addicted to it. I have this kind of dependency on it. I feel like it has taken me to a certain level. So I want it again and again and again and again because I have to keep that momentum going. And then what happens with spriha is we lose that thing. We lose that person, we lose that object, we lose that experience, and we are crushed. So how to handle this spriha? One is live life with open arms, open hands. You know, all our religions, they have these practices of just hands being open. And we see this, but what does it really mean to have your hand open? It means that whatever comes, let it come, and whatever goes, let it go. You and I have this sense of whatever comes, we want to hold on to it so tight, so tight, so tight, grasp it so tight, so tight. And then whatever we have to let go, we don't want to let go. But life is like that. And if you and I learn to live life with whatever comes, accept. Whatever goes, let it go. It's okay. It'll come, it'll go. It'll come, it'll go. And that's life. It can be anything. But when I learn to live life knowing that it will all come, it will all go, this will reduce my sense of craving. And also, when I learn to enjoy the moment, Why do I crave something more and more and more? Because very often I'm not enjoying where I am. Already I'm here, I'm thinking about, oh, I can't wait to get it again. Oh, I can't wait to get it again. Already I'm here and I'm having these thoughts. Just enjoy and know it will come. I don't know if it's ever going to come back again, but I'm full because I'm fully in this. I'm fully relishing it. And let it go when it has to go. Then you don't have that sense of, where did it go? And also, to let go of spraha means to be independent, to start looking within that I don't need these things actually to keep me on a peaceful state of mind. I can very well revel in the name of God. I can very well revel in quietude or in reading a book, or, I don't need all of these things. I can just find ways to entertain myself. And that way, this craving will go. So, kama, desire, give up. Spraha, craving, give up. Now, what is this mindness, mama? This mindness is a big thing. Sure short way to increase any sorrow, you add the word mind and you will feel the weight of the sorrow. You just add this word my or mine and your sorrow will increase 100-fold. I'll give you an example which you can understand. Now, in this COVID pandemic, in the United States alone, there must have been over 94,000 deaths the past 3 months. Huge number. Huge number. You and I somehow are remaining balanced in this huge number. But if any of those deaths were my family, my sibling, my parent, my child, would we be so balanced? No. And all it takes is that one word, my. That's what it does. When we think of mindness, we have this sense that we own something. We own our lives. We own a person. We own our child. We own our parent. We own our jobs. We have that sense of this is mine. This is ownership. But to really think about it, is anything yours or mine? Can you even call this body yours or mine? Do you know how many factors it takes just to sustain this? This body cannot exist without air, without sunlight, without food. Can we call our parents ours or our children ours? That's why Khalil Gibran says, your children are born through you, not from you. There's nothing in this world we actually own. And very beautifully, Guruji said in Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, if I belong to God, then what can belong to me? I myself don't belong to me. I belong to God. I belong to somebody else. That means every single thing I have belongs to somebody else. If I belong to God, what can belong to me? For some reason, you and I have this sense of that this is mine, that's mine, this is mine, that's mine. Nothing is ours. Anything can go in a second in the hands of Maya. And you and I have seen it. So when we know that nothing is mine, we are just travelers here. Everything that we have, we're just caretakers. We're not the actual owners. It's just given to us. We're taking care of it for some time. After that, it will have to go. Nothing is ours. Mindness, to give up. To give this up will give us a great sense of peace. Even my home, my car, my this, my that. For practicality purpose, we can say my. But to care for something and to own are two very different attitudes. The next one is to give up I-ness. What does it mean to give up I-ness? This is point number 4. I-ness means, I-ness is the root cause of all of this. We desire because there's a desirer. We crave because there's someone who craves. We call something mine because there is I. Ahankara, that sense of I, that ego notion, that sense of wanting to be identified with this limited self. So if mineness is the thought that something is mine and I own it, I-ness is a thought that I am this body, mind, intellect. I am this limited being. This is called mana. Further, when we expand this and we say, I, this limited being, am so great, I'm so wonderful, I'm super amazing. Or I, this limited being, am so insecure, nobody likes me, I don't know what to do with myself. When we either, this I is already limited, then we expand it or we contract it. That's called abhimana. So 1 is the sense of the limited I, and 2 is the sense of either expanding or contracting that I. That I is the source of all the problems. That identification with that I is the source of all the problems. As long as we are identified with it, we will not find peace. Just think about it. I'll just give you an example and you think about it. Have you ever bought a pair of shoes or, and they're new, and when they're new, they're kind of really tight. They feel like they're so painful on your feet and you get like red marks. And if you wear this shoe in the beginning, it hurts. Or even if you wear a shoe size 1 size smaller, how uncomfortable must that be? And let's say if you have to go trek the Himalayas with a shoe size 1 size smaller than your foot, what's that like? Or if you have to wear something 1 size smaller, how tight does that feel? How excruciating does that feel? Now you imagine this limitless self, you and I are forcing it into the body, forcing it into this mind, forcing it into this intellect. We are crushing it and putting it in our form. That's limitless, formless self, you're crushing and putting into this form. How painful would it be? We can't even wear a shoe size 1 size smaller than ours. How must it be for that limitless self to be or appear limited? Very painful, very tough, isn't it? This is called ahankara. How to give up this ahankara? This ego sense or sense of individuality can only be burned in the fire of knowledge. Only when you and I deeply inquire into who we are, then this ego will disappear. Very beautifully it is put in Padesha Sara. Once we find out, we try to find out the root of this ego, we trace the source of this ego, that ego itself disappears. So now you know why. In our Shastra, there are many, many ways to achieve peace, like leading a virtuous life, which we saw last week, dharma, like bhakti, sublimating ourselves and offering ourselves to God, like karma yoga, doing selfless service as a worship of God, like Raja Yoga, concentrating the mind and just focusing on God. All of these practices are totally wonderful. But that practice which roots out the ego is called Jnana Yoga. And ultimately, only that and that alone will bring us lasting peace. These 4 things we have spoken about today is a project of a lifetime. It's not something that comes right away, but it's a project of a lifetime. So they are giving up desire, giving up craving, giving up mindness, and finally giving up